So today we're transforming these lovely French into a gorgeous short Christmas set. So grab a brew, take a seat, and let's get started. So basically, I am debulking everything to start off with, as always. This is the 2XC, 2 extra course bit from Katie Barnes, and I'm just taking down quite a bit of this product because I'm going to reduce the length, etc. But this particular bit is fantastic for that. Look how it just eats through the acrylic. Honestly, it's amazing. So basically, I'll do all of my debulking, etc. And then I will go in with the product and all of my prep. So I'll leave you to watch the prep for a moment, but if you are new here and you do enjoy kind of nail videos, nail education, that kind of thing, do make sure you drop me a like and a follow and let me know in the comments what you want to see. The biggest tip I can give you when you're working with the 2 extra course bit is have it fast. So you'll see here, I think my speed's probably, I think it's probably around about 35. The e-file goes up to 40. I always remember Kirsty Meakin saying just because it goes up to 40, it's a bit like you with your car. So if your car goes to 120 miles an hour, you're not necessarily going to drive it at 129 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour. So it's a similar thing with the e-file, and actually it's very rare you'll need to use it that fast. Look how easily that's just eating through. And because it's got kind of a safety top, this particular bit from Katie Barnes, it means that it doesn't actually, it's not dangerous for the client. And the faster it is, it doesn't skip, it doesn't really have heat. I never keep it in the same place. It's really, really important to keep moving it and keep asking your clients. But I'm always asking my clients when I'm doing this, and it's very rare. They'll say they feel any warmth, heat, anything like that. So once I've done all of the debulking, I will go in and I will use my file to reduce the length and just give it a little bit of kind of a pre-application shape. I just find this minimises my filing at the end. Next, I'm going to go in with my talcum powder, and this is just to dry and dehydrate the cuticles a little bit more, and I'm going to lift those cuticles using one of my etching tools. So I haven't got a pad on it at the minute, and I'm literally just using that to tease that cuticle off the nail plate and just create a little pocket for my flame bit to go in, and then I will come in a moment with the flame bit just to make sure that nail plate is totally clean. So I will go down the left-hand side in forward and the right-hand side in reverse. And honestly, guys, this isn't another thing. Like, I used to use this at probably around about 9 to 10, but actually I've started after doing a few Russian manicure courses. I do it at about 16, and if you look at that, it's done in very few passes. I don't need to apply any pressure. It takes that off. I'm regularly taking the dust off as I'm working, and I just find that I'm not needing as many passes. Also, I will, if I'm finding that maybe that's not doing it on the first couple of passes, I might move up slightly on my grit. It's better to have a slightly abrasive grit, and I'm talking no stronger than a medium, obviously, in this particular bit. But the fine bit will normally do it, or an even extra fine, depending on the nail plate. Then I will go in with my cuticle scissors. These ones are from Katie Barnes, as always. But they will make light work of cuticle trimming. If you are nervous about using nippers, get yourself a pair of these. In fact, even if you love your nippers, I would highly recommend getting a pair of these because they are ergonomic. They're very lightweight. They fit the nail bed beautifully, and honestly, they're a fantastic little buy. She currently has just a wild Black Friday sale on. I think it might be for another few days, maybe until the beginning of December. But please don't quote me on that. So maybe go and check out the website. I'll try and get this uploaded today on the Saturday, the 29th of November, so then you'll have a bit of time. This is the mini sanding band. I absolutely love this. I don't really use it to go on the nail plate anymore, but we had a tiny bit of lifting. This client is a nail biter, and she's doing really, really well with this set. Honestly, they've grown up so much in about 3 weeks, and we're managing to keep them on her at the minute. So basically, I'm just taking that up and just removing any kind of tiny little bits of lifting that she's got, like at the base there, and then I go in with my etching tool to actually etch the nail plate. I'm not using the sanding band on the natural nail, then the etching tool. So just so you can see what I'm using that for. You'll see there, I just find sometimes using a sanding band gets that lifting off a little bit easier, and it's not as abrasive as kind of a carbide bit. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it was totally clear, because obviously if you don't get rid of the lifting, then you're going to have greenies. So once I've done all of that, I'm going to go in with my etching tool. It's just a very low etching grit. It's about, I think, maybe 180, 240, something like that. And I'm just going to make sure that nail plate is nice and etched. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just going back and forth just to create some tiny little scratches in the nail plate, just to make sure that acrylic attaches a little bit easier. I think I was having a real issue with this middle nail, and I am really finicky about getting it all off. I am not, if I can avoid it at all costs, giving my clients greenies. So yeah, and they're all quite happy with me doing that. So I think I've left this in so you can see a bit of the lifting, in fact, because I might have actually, because I think there was a little bit that was kind of hiding from me and I could almost feel it. So you may see that in a moment. I can't remember on this set. But yeah, I'll leave you to watch this. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So I think it was a completely different set that I had a bit of lifting on. Anyway, so I am just going to go in and I am going to dehydrate. So I'm using the dehydrator, which is from Bexy Glow, I think, but any dehydrator will do. I'm not too precious about this because all we're doing is just making sure all of the oils are off the nail plate. So your normal kind of, you can do like spray dehydrator, that'll probably do it in fairness. But yeah, I particularly like this one just because it's a really good brush to use. So I will go in, make sure that's really well dehydrated, make sure the dehydrator has completely evaporated, and then I will go in with my Young Nails Protein Bond. You'll notice that I'm only putting it on the natural nail and maybe a little bit of the regrowth, so I'm not really touching it onto the acrylic. I am a bit, but it doesn't need it, so you only need a tiny little dot. And I will do 2 layers of it on the cuticle. And again, I mean, you can see that it's really helping with the retention. She did have a bit of lifting, which I'd expected. She's got a very busy life, but nothing like she would have done at one point. And I do think a lot of that's down to the one monomer from CJP and the Young Nails Protein Bond. So then I go in with my fill. So it's just 1 bead by the cuticle, and we're just tucking it in using the tip of our brush, and then using the belly of our brush, I'm going to move that down. So if you'll see, I'm just tapping that a little bit and then blending it down. So here we have a little bit more of a close-up, so I'm just placing that on, and then I am going to tuck it right into the cuticle. I think I do add a little bit more on this one at the cuticle, blending it down the sides, and then you'll see there I'm kind of more patting it because I don't want to kind of get rid of that apex. So I'm literally just, if it feels like it's sticking back to the brush like I am there, I'll just wipe my brush and pop it back in my monomer. So I'm trying to work a little bit drier with it. This particular system works better with slightly less monomer, and it's just lovely acrylic to work with. So I will, again, I'll leave you to watch this if you have any questions about the fill aspect of it. This is relatively straightforward. So if you want to kind of pop it on, you know, like a 2x speed or something like that, I will not absolutely blame you at all. I think it's a great idea. So yeah, I'll let you watch the fill and I'll be back in a moment. Then I'll go in with a safety bit. This was a very fine grit, and I don't need to take a lot off. I've been quite careful with my application to make sure I don't have a great deal of filing. So I am literally just using that to refine it a little bit, and then I'll go in with my hand file. Next we do our hand filing routine, so I will do free edges, then I will go down the left hand side of the nail as so, and then the right hand side of the nail, then I'll bevel over the top, and I'll try and keep that kind of that routine for the whole set. So I'm going down the right hand side of the nail, then the left hand side of the nail, and then you'll see there I'm beveling over the top. The cuticles didn't need a great deal of work, so I try not to file too much on them because that can cause lifting. So I've done most of the work with my brush, so we shouldn't have too much of an issue. I think I do go in and buff it after that because the client was having them nude, so I wanted them to be relatively scratch free as well. So once I'm happy with the shape, I will go in with my nail art. So I'm doing a gonk on the middle nail, and I am doing a Christmas tree on the ring finger. There are full tutorials. If you go to my shorts, then you can see them too. But basically, you want to start off using a white gel paint. This one's from Hona, this is for the Gonk, and I'm just drawing the beard in first. So again, remember these are all different, so it doesn't need to be exact. You'll probably need to adjust it for the size of your nail that you're working on. I don't think I've ever done on one on such a small nail, because you've got very slender nails as well. So it was a real challenge, but I really enjoyed doing them. And I'm trying to drag my brush down in that white because it's a lovely thick consistency, and it means you can almost get the texture of the bristles and the beard if you do that. So I just find it adds a little bit of extra. I think I'd go in and do an extra few brush strokes once it's been cured as well, because obviously I want to make sure it will cure properly, so I don't want to work too thick in the first place. So you'll see here after it's been cured, I do go in with the extra liner or two of the white just to make sure it's got a little bit more texture. Then next I'm going to do the hat. Now I'm using the silver cat eye from Pro Impressions. So I am literally just painting that little hat on. It's a lovely little floppy kind of pointed hat. And I am going in with my magnet to activate that cat eye. Now I did do 2 coats of this. And to actually magnify the cat eye, I'm literally just waving the magnet at the side of it, and I just find that really gets that cat eye nice and kind of, it gives it that lovely depth, it kind of gives it that lovely velvet effect. So I'm using a hard gel as well for the nose, and I do use this particular cat eye on the ring finger as well. I have left in all of the nail art, so if you've got any questions about what I'm using, or if I've kind of not let you know, just let me know in the comments. The brush as well is from Novell, and it's fabulous. I've been using it for pretty much everything. So because this was such a tiny set, I wanted a really little brush, and it's perfect for that size. You know, doing nail like this on, well, normal nails, because a lot of clients have short nails, small nails, so it's kind of understanding how to work with the space that you've got. So as I said before, this one is the cat eye. So I'm literally just doing the Christmas tree. So I'm literally just doing a little triangle shape, dead simple, curing, activating it with the magnet, curing it, and then doing a second coat. Then obviously it's not Christmas without a little bit of snow on the tree. So I'm using that same gel paint to just create some little like waves of snow on the side of it. And using the white again, I'll create a little bobble on the top of the hat. Then I wanted it to have a nice little round nose, so I got a tiny little bead on my Novell liner brush, and I literally just roll it on there. So you'll see there, I'm just rolling it on. I'll create a nice little kind of apex almost, and then I'm going to flash cure it. So on the 2 nail art nails, I go in with the normal microcrystal top coat, and then I'm using their new prism top coat on the other nails. Now that it's a cat eye effect. Can you tell I'm a bit obsessed with cat eye? I'm really sorry, but I'm absolutely not sorry, because I'm not going to stop using it because I love it. So I do use that on the other nails, and again, just activate it as normal, just like waving the magnet round the outside to get that cat eye really popping. But it was the most beautiful subtle shimmer, and it's also just a really pleasant top coat to work with. It doesn't run, it doesn't fight you, so you'll see me activating that in a moment. But then the joy about this is now it was all cured, I was done, I was good to go. I don't need to put another top coat, so it doesn't add any more bulk or anything. Highly recommend. Also, it'll change the colour of anything underneath it, so it'll kind of change up your colours that you've got already. Honestly, I'll stop going on about it, but it's fabulous. So this is the final look. Thank you so much for watching, and as I did say before, if you have enjoyed this, please do make sure you like and follow for more. Thanks for watching. Bye now.